Good evening, everyone. Thank you for coming to watch. We've got an update for you guys on this massive severe weather outbreak that is taking place today. This is underway, and it is pretty much, we're halfway through it. But there's a lot more severe weather that's on the way. There's 3 areas I want to talk about today. This one up here, this is the main section that's going to be delivering most of that severe weather to the East Coast. Now, this has been a tornado producer through the last few hours. We've already seen multiple tornadoes across Indiana. Then there's also this one down here across the Georgia area. This is a line extending from the Georgia and Alabama borderline, also into central Georgia and then into western South Carolina. Now, this is pushing southward, delivering some damaging wind gusts and some hail with that too. And then this one up here down here, I should say, in Arkansas. This one looks like a tornado producer. I don't think we've seen too many tornadoes out of this so far, but there are 3 main storms that are really going to be concerning throughout the next few hours. And we also do have a pretty big storm up here in the northwest, low pressure storm that's trying to produce a lot of precipitation. Now, this is going to be riding the jet stream and then bring another midweek severe weather outbreak. I don't want to say severe weather outbreak yet, but severe weather event possibly in the next few weeks. So I'll talk to you guys probably sometime tomorrow, but I'll try my best to get an update in. But I really just want to make sure that you guys are ready and know exactly what's going to be happening in the next few hours. But, we move on to our alerts, and you can see that what we've got a lot of severe weather alerts. As you obviously we do have the severe weather alerts for pretty much this entire area that's been getting hit by these severe storms. But what you've got is a heat advisory that goes out for pretty much the entire southern plains. I'm pretty much, even though this isn't like literally the entire southern plains, but I would say most of the southern plains, you guys are included in this heat advisory, and then also stretching into parts of the southeast. I believe all of Louisiana and Mississippi, you guys are all included in this risk or in this heat advisory, and then almost all of Texas, and then almost all of southern and south central New Mexico. But you also do have an excessive heat warning for parts of Texas, western Texas, including some parts of the panhandle of Texas, and then also down here in southern Texas. Then over here in the Ohio Valley, you've got western Ohio. You guys are included in this tornado watch. This also stretches down into parts of Kentucky. Like I said earlier in an update a few days ago, I really did think that these storms in Kentucky looked pretty concerning. But here you are. You already see, based on the National Weather Service alerts, that you already do have a little bit more of a concerning effect on this. Now, you definitely have that tornado watch out, and this is going to be out for the rest of the night. So, you guys in Kentucky, tonight is going to be a wild night for tornadoes in Kentucky and Ohio. But I'm praying, that just everyone's going to stay safe tonight, that we won't see any tornadoes. But it really looks almost certain that we will see a tornado or two in one of these areas tonight. Severe thunderstorm watch for pretty much, all of Arkansas, which is kind of amazing. You've got a lot of eastern Oklahoma included in this severe thunderstorm watch. All of northern Mississippi, a lot of eastern Alabama, a few counties in west central Georgia, and then a lot of western Tennessee. You guys are in this, as well as parts of western Kentucky. So that's pretty much all of that. But you do also have one more thing: severe weather statement that goes out for a few counties here in southeastern Arkansas. Also, you do have that not the same severe weather statement, but a different one, more separate. This one located in west central Georgia. But we also do see one more thing. We also do see another. This is a different one, but you do see another severe thunderstorm watch. This one in northeast Michigan, around the Gaylord area, and then you also do have a severe thunderstorm warning. I'm not sure what this is. I guess it's the Gaylord area as well. But this stretches down into parts of eastern Michigan. So like the I don't want to say coastal regions because this isn't considered the ocean, but just the uh, the areas farther to the east. Um, but we go over to our NAM 3KM model for the North Central just to show you guys kind of what's happening right now. So this was as of 3 p.m. Today. I mean, you did have some pretty intense thunderstorms, a line of damaging wind gusts across the Indiana and Michigan borderline. Your low pressure center was right here in around western Michigan, and then this has been spinning around like crazy. So you definitely have a very well defined low pressure center in the middle of the storm, but you do have those rain bands and those severe thunderstorm lines circling around it. So we see these storms continue pushing throughout the night. So this is probably in just half an hour. So this is 9 p.m. tonight. You do have some pretty intense thunderstorms, maybe even some tornadic thunderstorms already in Kentucky. So just a few more minutes, and you'll start hearing some reports of tornado damage and maybe even some actually like literal reports of tornadoes. But I think you'll start seeing and hearing those tornado warnings start going off like crazy probably around 9:30 tonight. But this is pretty much going to be the Ohio. We're going to call this the Ohio tornado threat, but I think this is what we've got to look out for the most. But that isn't the main line of storms. It's probably, well, actually, this is probably going to be the second line of or the first line of storms is going to move through this area. You see, here it is right here, damaging wind threat around 8 p.m. This was like about half an hour ago, and then behind it, you might have some leftover severe thunderstorms, but it's most likely not going to happen. So, I mean, we're already getting way into next week. But we go to tomorrow. We're going to 8 p.m. tomorrow. You're still seeing some spotty thunder showers across the region. But I mean, really, I don't even. I think that you probably actually won't have a second tornado threat. So scratch what I said about the second tornado threat. You're going to be your one and only tornado threat tonight. It's this storm right here. For Kentucky, it's this one right here. For Ohio, you guys are probably going to have to deal with this one that's approaching, this one that's right now, it's in Indiana. This for around 3 p.m. This line storms that was in Indiana. This actually did produce a destructive tornado that was confirmed. So there has been a tornado that spawned from this storm, but we continue watching this throughout the day, and it will eventually strike parts of northern Ohio. So if you're in northern Ohio or in northern Kentucky, you guys gotta watch out very, very intensely for these storms. But we continue all the way into tomorrow. We're getting into the late morning hours of tomorrow. You're still seeing those thunderstorms, but none of these will be severe. So by tomorrow, you'll almost be definitely and completely out of the clear of these storms. Maybe some stronger leftover storms around like the Virginia, West Virginia, and Southern Ohio area, but probably just going to have some leftover downpours along with some spotty thunder showers. But, once you get to like Tuesday, you should be pretty much done with it, except there will be a new round of thunderstorms, which we'll talk about later in a different update. But this will already only be in the Dakotas and won't be, anywhere near the Ohio Valley yet. But, we go to the southeast, I believe, and we'll take a look at what you guys got today. And you can see that this was 3 p.m. today. Some pretty intense storms. I'm going to tell you, these were really, really intense. These storms that were impacting eastern Tennessee. I think these were definitely severe thunderstorm warned a couple of times. But these have been big-time hail producers and damaging wind gusts producers. So we're definitely going to have to watch this storm as well, because these are going to be more long track storms, which basically long track would mean that they're severe for a longer time and they move in a longer area. But you see that this squall line of damaging wind gusts, still makes it all the way down into southern Alabama, and really will continue staying strong until probably very early morning hours of tomorrow is when this will die down. But then you get a secondary line that looks probably. I would say that this secondary line is going to look a little bit more mature and intense than the one that's impacting right now. But this one's probably going to hit you guys in northern and eastern Tennessee probably around 1 to 2 a.m., maybe even 3 or 4 a.m. Tomorrow morning. But most of the severe weather is going to be late at night, which is a really bad thing because you guys are going to be in bed and you're not gonna know or hear like when those alerts come on when you're supposed to get when people are supposed to know that there's a severe thunderstorm coming. But these look pretty intense, and they look healthy. I'm gonna tell you that if we once we continue to like the middle of the night tonight for the second round of storms in Tennessee, you could see that these got a lot of curviness on it, so you could quite possibly see a tornado or two from these storms. But I really do think that the damaging wind threat is going to be the highest and main threat of the night for the Tennessee Valley. But we're going to see a few storm systems that are going to try and start their own kind of way based off of this very weak low pressure center up here in West Virginia, and these are just going to try and form some couplets of severe thunderstorms that are going to be trying very hard. I'll tell you, they're going to try very hard to produce tornadoes, which is a bad sign. But I think that really the high start for tornadoes is going to be in Kentucky because one, you have the organized low pressure center just like very close nearby, but the dynamics are a lot more stronger and more steadier and more compact and organized than down here in the southeast. So when you guys in the southeast, you still will probably see some severe storms, especially you guys in the Tennessee Valley, because you guys are also very close to that low pressure center and close to Kentucky. But I really do think you guys in the southeast are going to see a lot less severe weather than the north central. So you guys will actually get a small break from these severe thunderstorms. But that's going to be pretty much it for the southeast until tomorrow. Now tomorrow you get a different a different low pressure system that's going to form, and it's going to be like half and half a new low pressure system, but it's also going to be the same kind of like half of it is going to be made of the same system that we're seeing tonight. But this is going to form a pretty intense and damaging line of storms. It's going to be stretching down all the way from Virginia down into North Carolina, and then also parts of South Carolina and Georgia. Now, this is going to be moving very, very fast, but it's going to be moving just direct southeastward. But you can see that this is a very, very straight line, and that tells you that you're going to see probably a few areas are going to see, at least 50-mile-an-hour wind gusts in excess of 50 miles an hour for at least 5 minutes. But one, like the Charlotte area, or if that's in North Carolina, but all these cities on the water here, North Carolina, or Norfolk, Virginia, I don't know. I don't really know. I'm not really good with these areas here, but any of you guys that are living in any of these cities along like the coastal regions of the Carolinas, I really do think you guys are going to see some pretty intense damaging wind gusts tomorrow. Now, what's the timing of this? Well, probably it's going to be around 2 a.m. to 5 a.m. tomorrow. So very, very early in the morning tomorrow. But that could be only the first round of storms. You see, you get another round of storms that's going to be showing up around 10 p.m. Tomorrow night. So really what to expect if you guys are in the Carolinas or farther northward. I really do think you guys are just going to see on and off storms all day. But really the main threats of severe thunderstorms and severe weather is probably going to be very early in the morning and then very late at night, so like 10, 11, and 12 p.m., and then like 2 to 5 in the morning. But, we go to the NAM3CAM model for, I believe this is the Northeast, and it's going to be pretty much the same story for you guys. Look at all this action, all this thunderstorm action, explosive thunderstorms for pretty much the entire region. I know today, I live in northwestern Long Island, but today we had, the cumulonimbus clouds looked absolutely amazing today, and they were explosive, and we did have, a 20-minute thunderstorm with an absolutely downpour. It was crazy, but it's very, very humid in this area right now. The dew points are in the 70s, which is tropical-like, so it's very sticky and muggy, and so when a low-pressure center comes through this area, it's going to soak up all that moisture, and it's just going to get stronger and stronger, which tells you that the area with the most moisture is probably going to get the area with the more steady and the more longer duration severe thunderstorms. But, we get through the rest of the night. We're getting into 10, 11 p.m. tonight. Here's your thunderstorm, your severe thunderstorms, and your line of storms that's going to be moving through Kentucky tonight. And then this is your damaging wind line that's going to be sweeping through north central Ohio. Now, we got to watch this because this could end up actually striking parts of upstate New York and western PA. But this could enter the Buffalo area, so if it does, we got to watch that. But we're getting into the morning hours of tomorrow, and you're seeing pretty much everyone is going to be seeing scattered thunderstorms. That's why this is an outbreak. We haven't seen the severe thunderstorm part of this outbreak, but we're definitely seeing a lot of thunderstorms early in the morning. We're getting into 9 to 10, then 11 a.m. You're starting to see some storms bubble up right here in southern New York State, parts of northeastern PA, and then also parts of southern New Jersey. But these are probably going to be the initial thunderstorms that are going to be, just around the system. But if you watch closely, if I put this in a time lapse and I play this, all these thunderstorms you see, all these thunderstorms off to the sea, on land, and then closer off to the west, they are all rotating around this one low pressure center. So you can tell that if you're near this low pressure center, you're definitely going to see one of the stronger storms of the day. But, it's just so strong that it's controlling all of these thunderstorms. But, once these first initial storms pass through, this is 3 p.m., so this is mid-afternoon tomorrow. You're going to have some pretty intense thunderstorms just north of Long Island. So, like, we're talking northeastern New Jersey, and then also parts of the Hudson River in southern New York State. But, pretty much the entire New York State is going to get hit pretty hard by some storms tomorrow. But we get to like the evening and overnight hours of tomorrow, and this is the main threat for severe weather. This is the storm that is causing what we're going to see in the next part of the update on the SBC. Okay, so we're going to break this down step hour by hour. So you see that you've got a line of storms stretching all the way from central New York State down into PA, and then parts of Delaware and New Jersey. But this is going to be impacting like Tom's River and Atlantic City. But, this is going to be pushing due east. So you'd think that, hey, this is going to enter Long Island, right? Well, we're going to have to look at that because there's still a chance. These damaging wind lines, I definitely do. I definitely say every time I see one of these guys that, there's going to be a damaging wind threat in that area, which is pretty much, it's most of the time that's right. But they're very, very short-lived. And that's why when you see one of these lines that goes through the entire day without really, weakening, that's when you can kind of tell that there's something really special and important to know about that system. But there's going to be two of these lines. There's one, the northern line, and then the southern line. The southern line is going to be impacting parts of Virginia, and then like areas farther south, like the southern Delmarva area. But this one farther north is going to be the northern one. So Both of these lines are going to be impacting the East Coast. Now, which one's going to be more long track? It's definitely going to be the far southern one. So this one's going to be making it so far south that it could even enter North Carolina. So this is going to probably be the second round of severe thunderstorms for North Carolina. That's why we have an enhanced risk up for this area. But the northern line, I mean, it's very close. I mean, a lot of the models are disagreeing and agreeing with each other about how quick this line is going to end. It's all about this line. They pretty much know about what's going to be happening out here in the Ohio Valley and the Central Plains, but the Northeast, the Mid Atlantic, and the Southeast is really what the most difficulty is on trying to kind of figure out what's going to be happening tomorrow. But we're getting into 10 p.m. and this is probably when these storms are going to be entering New York City and Long Island. I think that's probably going to be your best shot. But there is a small tornado threat for this area. So I really do think you guys in eastern PA, parts of New Jersey, and upstate New York, you guys could quite possibly have an slightly elevated tornado threat. Maybe a isolated tornado or two, but I really do think the farther west you go, the stronger the tornado threat is. And if you wanted to put a line between where the tornado threat ends and where it starts, I think that really starting right now, if we started right now, the tornado threat would be from here and then off to the east. Because I think anybody farther west than this line right here in central Indiana, I think you guys are done for the day with tornadoes. But I think really just the entire Northeast and Mid Atlantic, you guys are definitely going to have at least one shot of seeing a severe thunderstorm severe thunderstorm throughout tomorrow. But I mean, it's going to be a pretty crazy day. And we still see more storms on the backside of this. Central Long Island, you guys could get hit by a rotating thunderstorm somewhere around 2 to 3 in the morning tomorrow. Or actually, this would be Tuesday morning. But it's just going to be absolutely nuts out there. So really, I mean, it's just a very long storm, a very big storm that we just have to get through. But I mean, we get to even to we're getting into Tuesday night, late Tuesday night, and we're seeing more of that thunderstorm action. I know I'm getting very deep into the week, but I mean, it's just going to be a very, very long storm and a storm that people are going to be eager to see getting out of the United States. But that's going to bring us to our SPC. So these are severe thunderstorm percentages. And you do see, let me go back to the day one outlook because we're not at the day two yet. But day one outlook, this was for today. We were up to an enhanced risk this morning. This got updated, and the enhanced risk kind of spread very, very abruptly. And there's now a huge, huge amount of United States citizens that are in the way of this. And this is something that is really going to be dangerous today, and I'm a little surprised that we did not see a moderate risk posted out here. But you're up to an enhanced risk for the rest of today. You've got just under 20 million people in the way of this enhanced risk. This is absolutely intense and insane right now. But we see Indianapolis, Indiana, Columbus, Ohio, Memphis, Tennessee, Nashville, Tennessee, and Cincinnati, Ohio. Those are pretty much the major cities in the way of this. Louisville, Kentucky. You've got Columbus, Ohio. I think I said that. You've got Fort Wayne, Indiana. Little Rock, Arkansas. I think I said that. I don't know if I did. Memphis, Tennessee. Nashville, Tennessee. Bowling Green, Bowling Green, Kentucky. So you're just going to see up and down this area of enhanced risk. But you're just going to see a ton of major cities in the way of this. But, you see that this stretches all the way from, like, northwestern Ohio all the way down into the Nashville, down into the Ohio and Tennessee Valley, and then you get into Arkansas, central Arkansas. You guys could definitely have a ramp up of severe weather as well. But really, I do think that the area the farther north you go and the farther west you go, now we're talking a little bit closer to the East Coast, I think really if you wanted to get a pinpointed area for the highest severe weather threat, it's going to be right in here. I think this is where exactly we're going to see the highest severe weather threat, maybe a little bit farther uh, south. So we could definitely move this a little bit closer to the Kentucky area. But Louisville, Kentucky, I think you guys got to be alert tonight. You're gonna definitely. I think you guys are almost certainly gonna see at least one tornado warning tonight. But I really do think that we're gonna see a lot of bad weather tonight for this entire area. But we go to the slight risk. You got Detroit, Michigan. Um, Detroit, Michigan. What am I saying? Sorry, guys. It's been a very, very long day. Um, Oh wait, I'm right. Sorry, guys. I mean, it's. Let me tell you. Let me take a break right now. But let me tell you, it's been such a crazy and long afternoon and day that it's been so hot. So many things to think about when it comes to weather that my brain is just fried. So when I'm making mistakes, sometimes I don't really recognize it. Sometimes I do, and it's really frustrating. So please just bear with me, guys, and I completely apologize for the mistakes I make with this the pronunciation of the cities, and also the location and the name of the states. I'll always be trying and practicing to try and get my those things at 100%. But really, I'm just trying my best out here, guys. But to get back to this, but I mean, like areas further north, like Detroit, Michigan, Cleveland, Ohio, Totolo, Ohio, Birmingham, Alabama, and Akron, Ohio. You guys are going to be in the slight risk, and then also the surrounding areas like Chattanooga, Tennessee, not quite Nashville, Tennessee. You guys are in that enhanced risk, but looks like Evansville, Kentucky, or Indiana, and then Cleveland, Ohio. You guys are in that. I think I already said that. Yeah, I sure did. Then you got Jackson, Mississippi. You guys are in this as well. But there's a lot of cities in here that are going to be highly populated. But I mean, the total population comes out to over 25 million people, which is a crazy, crazy big amount for for a for a severe weather event. But it's pretty much the same for the margin risk. Yeah, Atlanta, Georgia, Pittsburgh, Pennsylvania, Shreveport, Louisiana, Mobile, Alabama, and Columbus, Georgia. That comes out to a total of 19,303,290 people. So it is going to be very, very intense for a lot of people. Millions of people are in the way of this. But we go to the tornado threat, and here it is. I'm going to show you guys right now exactly where I was expecting. And if you go back to like a few days ago, you can see that I did point out that I really do think that these storms in Kentucky, northern Kentucky, are looking like they're going to be pretty darn bad out there. Well, here it is. That tornado threat is going to be very high tonight. You've got a 10% risk for tornadoes, including the hatch risk, for pretty much all of northern Kentucky. So Indianapolis, Indiana, we got Cincinnati, Ohio, Louisville, Kentucky, Dayton, Ohio, and Bloomington, Indiana. But I know you didn't really hear any major cities for northern Kentucky, but that's just because there aren't. Luckily there aren't that many cities in the way of this. But there's going to be quite a few people up and down this line here that are going to see some tornadoes tonight. But we go to the 5% risk. You got Totolo, Ohio, Lexington, and Fayette, Kentucky, Springfield, Ohio, and Owensboro, Kentucky, and then also Bowling Green, Kentucky. But it's going to be a very, very precise area for that tornado threat. The rest of you guys are not going to see pretty much any tornadoes, which is very interesting. So it's interesting to see that the SPC has only put out a 2, 5, and 10% risk for this one area here. Usually you have at least a 2% risk of tornadoes for almost all the areas included in the severe weather risk, but not today. So very interesting to see how that plays out. But yeah, I really do think the state with the most tornadoes is probably going to be Kentucky, Ohio, or Indiana. So we go to the wind threat. This is a lot more significant than the tornado threat, just because it's a lot bigger and there's a lot larger well, it's a lot bigger, but there's also a higher risk for damaging wind gusts. So you got two areas in enhanced risk. This is both including 30% risk for pretty much the same exact area as the enhanced risk. But I mean, this is a huge area, 17 million people, including Columbus, Ohio, Memphis, Tennessee, Nashville, Tennessee, Cincinnati, Ohio, and Louisville, Kentucky. But I mean, this stretches all the way from northwestern Ohio and northeastern Indiana, all the way down into the Tennessee and Ohio Valley into central Arkansas. But this could also be impacting parts of northern Mississippi. So pretty much the southeast and the Ohio Valley are going to see that damaging wind threat and maybe some of that tornado threat tonight. But we go to the hail threat. It's pretty much the same story, except you've got two separate areas of this 30% risk, both under hatched risks, including some of that 15% risk, but hatched risk including Indianapolis, Indiana, Memphis, Tennessee, Cincinnati, Ohio, Louisville, Kentucky, and Lexington, Fayette, Kentucky. But this is just going to be a very, very massive area and very highly populated area for a very long period of time. But really, I think the biggest threat, it's going to be the damaging wind threat. I really do think. That's what my gut has been telling me tonight. But the tornado threat's probably going to be second on this list. Or actually, I would say the hail's going to be second on this list just because the SBC and the models are both showing up as that the storms are going to be pretty big hail makers. But even though the 20th is probably going to be the last the last I guess large severe weather threat today, I really do think though that we're going to see a lot of tornadoes if we will see multiple in this area. But we go to the day 2 outlook. Now this is for tomorrow. And here is our risk for the East Coast. Now, you started off with the marginal risk. You've got a marginal risk with 34 million people. This is absolutely insane. 34 million people. This is extremely highly populated areas, including major cities like Boston, Massachusetts, Atlanta, Georgia, Montgomery, Alabama, Columbus, Georgia, and Providence, Rhode Island. But I mean, it's going to be absolutely mayhem out there. I mean, there's just so many cities and so many people in the way of this that it's very, very upsetting and sad just because so many people have to have their days planned and, just, I guess, their mind ruined because they have to think about, when is the severe weather hitting and, when do you have to take your plans and cancel them. But you go to the slight risk. You got New York City, Charlotte, North Carolina, Newark, New Jersey, Jersey City, New Jersey, and Yonkers, New York. All of you guys are in the slight risk. Now, this is just coding the enhanced risk. Look how tight that cutoff is. Just between Baltimore and the southern border of PA. Look how close that is. I really do think that you could wake up tomorrow seeing that this marginal risk is spread farther into the Ohio Valley. So Pittsburgh and Cleveland could be included in this marginal risk. You would see the slight risk expand farther north. So Binghamton, New York, and Scranton, Pennsylvania. I think you guys could definitely be included in the slight risk as of tomorrow morning. We still don't know that. I'm not saying that that's expected, but it's definitely possible. And then we would possibly see this enhanced risk get into New York City, Long Island, and then parts of North Carolina and South Carolina a bit farther south. But, as of now, this is what we have. And for the enhanced risk, this is level 3 out of 5. We've got Philadelphia, Pennsylvania, Baltimore, Maryland, Washington, D.C. You got Virginia Beach and Raleigh, North Carolina. Those are pretty much all of the major cities in the way of this. But I think you guys in D.C., you guys could see a few pretty big hail makers out there. So some rotating thunderstorms that could produce a lot of hail. Definitely possible across this entire region. But I really do think that damaging wind threat is going to be the main threat. So that means that pretty much all of you in this enhanced risk have a pretty good shot at seeing a storm that can produce a 50-mile-an-hour wind gust. But we go to the tornado threat for tomorrow. Not high. You only have a 2% risk, but, we could definitely have some rotating thunderstorms out there. Here's that wind threat. 30%. That's pretty high, and that's for Philadelphia, Pennsylvania, Baltimore, Maryland, Washington, D.C., Virginia Beach, and Raleigh, North Carolina. So, it's going to be pretty much the same story for the categorical outlook and the wind threat. So, wind threat, this would be the same area as your enhanced risk, same area as your slight risk, and same area as your this is the marginal risk. But I really do think that this entire line stretching from the 15 to 30% risk is going to see some damaging wind gusts and at least a damaging wind gust threat for tomorrow. But we go to the hail threat, it's 15% risk, but a little bit farther south. So I think the hail makers are going to be probably, if I had to put my money on it, I think I would say parts of North Carolina and Virginia, maybe Baltimore and Washington, D.C., that area, Delmarva area. You guys will also see some of that hail out there, but I really think the largest hail could definitely fall in the Carolinas. We go to the day 3 outlook. Not going to really pay too much attention to this. You're only up to a marginal risk, but it's pretty much the same exact area, including New York City, Philadelphia, Pennsylvania, Virginia Beach, Newark, New Jersey, and Norfolk, Virginia. But it's just going to be a very, very long system that's going to be trying its best to get out of the Northeast, as well as producing as much severe weather. But for the last part of the update, I'm just going to be focusing on the tornado threat. Now, I told you guys it's going to be very important to break down and show you guys how strong that tornado threat's going to be. But we already have some very, very intense composite supercells. Now, this composite supercells, it's not too simple, it's not too basic though. Or it's not too basic, but it's not too very intense when you get to weather terms. But composite supercells are basically, I think they're supercells. I think they're supercells that are rotating at a lot quicker pace than what other supercells rotate, or they're rotating in different ways. I think what this means is that they're rotating in different ways. I'm gonna have to look it up, but I'm just gonna tell you guys that for now, we're not gonna be focusing on that right now. We're just gonna be focusing on where the tornado threat's gonna be highest. And with this, I'm just gonna tell you that I'm gonna look around out here, and the higher the number you see is probably the area with the more tornadic supercells you'll have. So we start off. This was probably like an hour or two ago, and we did have a pretty high tornado threat out here in Indiana. We've got a number of about 21 composite supercells, and this is surface based, just so you know. So this is very close to the ground. But we continue as this pushes farther east, and you see this number gradually gets higher. So you're up to 28. 28 is a pretty high number. But we're really going to be focusing on this main region right here of northern Tennessee, Kentucky, and then parts of Indiana and Ohio. But where this is probably going to be around the middle of the night tonight, here you go. You got 36, 37 up here. So a very, very high number right here around the Louisville area. And this is where I showed you guys where I thought that the high tornado and the elevated tornado threat was going to be. Well, here it is. You got 30, 34, 35, 36, and 37, composite supercells out here in Kentucky. But I really do think that for the next few hours or just the next hour, you're going to have a lot of trouble with those tornadoes and a lot of action with those tornadoes out there in Kentucky. But this does die down eventually, but you're still getting to the very early morning hours of tomorrow, and you're still seeing a pretty high number of about 27, 28, and approaching 30 out here in now central and southern Kentucky. So really, this is going to show you guys how, a lot of Kentucky is going to see the highest tornado threat. But, we could even see some of this action here in south central Oklahoma. I know this is kind of cut off on the map, but you're up to 23, 24, maybe even 25. So, pretty much all around you're going to see a tornado threat, but it's really this tri-state border of Ohio, Indiana, and Kentucky. I think this is where you're going to see that tornado threat because you got these steering winds pushing that are cool winds pushing down from the northwest, and then you've got surging moisture from the southeast, as well as some very muggy conditions out here, and they're all pushing against this one area in this border, and that's in this region. So that's where you're going to see probably the highest damaging, the highest tornado threat of the day and of the night. But for the last quick part of the video, we could actually put this up to the northeast. So I'll get this ready for you guys. But this is definitely going to be possible in the northeast. I don't think it's going to be that bad. But we switch over to the northeast just to show you guys that there's a chance for some rotating thunderstorms tomorrow night here in the northeast. But once I get this to load, you'll definitely start to be able to see that there will be a few rotating thunderstorms out there. So it's certainly possible for pretty much everyone a tornado or two. But I think if we're going to see any tornadoes tonight, it's definitely going to be in Kentucky. But you can see that we continue this throughout tonight, and then we get to tomorrow. You're starting to see this number climb. You can see it's definitely looking like it's going to be farther south, so closer to the Delmarva area, like the DC area. This number is only up to 8. You got 6 up here, but I really do think that if you see any number of composite supercells over 15, I think that you have a good shot at seeing a tornado or two. Just showing you guys that that's more of a unique type of supercell. But the fact that we're seeing numbers approaching like 15. This is let me see, not quite exactly where I want it to be. Like right here, you have 10. So 10's a decent number. But just to show you guys in general that pretty much everyone has a shot at seeing a tornado or two, including the northeast. But it's mainly going to be off to the west. But just to continue this throughout the rest of tomorrow, it'll stick around for a few more hours. Maybe it'll ramp up again. But that's pretty much it. So that's all I got for you guys. Thank you so much for coming to watch, and I'll see you guys in the next video. But you gotta stay safe tonight. Make sure you're ready for whatever's gonna happen tonight. I really do think, though, that we're gonna see a tornado or two in the Kentucky, Indiana, and Ohio area. But regardless, just stay safe, and I'll see you guys in the next video. So have a great night, and stay safe.